Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio. Appreciating your patronage here. I've been giving a few things a lot of thought. You know what we talk about on this program. There's a bunch of areas. There is an overarching theme. And clearly this is the one radio show that is done by men for men. We don't mean that in a gay way at all. We mean that in a way that, let's face it, most television for men is produced by women. The middle management in television is women. The people who do a lot of the basics of producing segments on television, women. Sure, you may see a guy's name at the top like Mark Burnett, producing Survivor and others, but if you ever take the time, and these days you got to be really fast or you got to have like TiVo to slow it down to read the credits on a TV show, look how many of the names are women. As we've said on this program many times, television is obsessed with women. Even though men write most of the checks. Men buy the products. Men earn most of the money. But because so much of middle management in television is women, programming is aimed at women. Same thing with movies. Are there enough chick flicks out there? Enough so-called romantic comedies coming out? Just read a story in the Wall Street Journal about the movie Fever Pitch with Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore. And this was an attempt by Fox, who produced the movie, to appeal to these two different demographic groups, sports fans and chicks. And really, one group has nothing to do with the other. Chicks generally hate sports. Sports fans generally think chicks just get in the way. So I guess time will tell whether you can do a project that appeals to both demographic groups. But you can't make a movie just for men or primarily for men anymore unless the men are 12 to 24. You just can't make a movie for a man. Hell, 20, 30 years ago, if you look back, you watch TBS at night or something, one of these cable networks, and they show these old movies. They were movies made for men. The Longest Yard, the original version, North Dallas 40. All the Dirty Harry movies, the Death Wish movies, these were clearly aimed at men. Shaft, men. Not anymore. Every other movie is Kate Hudson or, right? Or J-Lo. Never taking their clothes off. Romantic comedies. Oh, and that god-awful Hugh Grant. The gayest straight man in the world. Jesus. John Cusack, please. Need I mention Leonardo DiCaprio? All right. Even the straight guys in movies look fey. You know the deal. So, when I come in here to do this program, I am very conscious of this. That the media have been vaginized. That TV networks, ad agencies, dominated by 27-year-old female media buyers, are obsessed with appealing to women. And rarely give it a thought as to Who earns most of the money? I won't say who it was or in what city it was, but I took a meeting. I'll just say it was not in Los Angeles, okay? I took a meeting with a potential advertiser. One radio station said, could you go out and meet with this luxury car dealer? Because he's kind of on the fence about advertising on your show. Now, I drive luxury vehicles. I'm not ashamed to say it. And I said, you bet, I'd love to go out and meet with him. And so I got in the car with the advertising salesperson. The two of us drove out to where this Lexus dealership was. Now, I'll say it was a Lexus dealership because I just bought my 4th Lexus. I love these cars. Love them. I get there and sit down in the showroom at a desk in a cubicle with the guy who's going to make the decision. And we call them AEs in the radio business, account executives. They're advertising salespeople. He tries to get the conversation back to where it had been the last time the two of them had met. So the salesperson says, so remember, the last time we got together, you told me you were on the fence about advertising with Tom. Why is that? And here's what the guy says to me. He says, again, you're thinking, what's this guy want to do? You know, he's got a dealership with a great brand. What does he want to do? He wants to sell cars. Isn't that the objective? When you put an ad on the radio or TV or anywhere, you want to sell your product. So I'm thinking, this guy, what's your primary objective? You want to sell cars. The purpose of buying a commercial is to get people to buy your product. People who are in the desirable demographic and psychographic to buy this product. So when the account executive asked this guy, why are you on the fence? I'm thinking the ad costs too much, or he hasn't seen the ratings, doesn't know how many listeners we have, or it's not a radio station he listens to, so he doesn't know much about what we do. And I'm thinking these are all easy objections to overcome. You know, we can explain what we do, we can explain the station, we can show him the numbers, all of that. Here's what he said to me. I love your show, but my wife doesn't like it. So I said to this guy, your wife doesn't like it. I said, how many of these cars do you sell in a month? And he said about 30, which is pretty good for a car that can cost anywhere up to $80,000. That's pretty good. About 30 of them a month. You do the math. And I said, let's talk about these top-of-the-line cars here, because I happen to own a Lexus LS 430. I said, who is your primary buyer? He said, men. I said, let me ask you another question. When a woman comes in here and she says, I'd like a Lexus LS 430, who writes the check? He said, oh, almost 100% men. I said, so your target demographic has nothing to do with what your wife likes or what other women like. Upscale men buy your product. We deliver the largest number of upscale men in just about every radio market where this radio show is on. Why does it matter what your wife thinks? But you want to know something? By the way, he let his wife wear the pants, and he did not buy the advertising, even though we would have been the right radio station, the right show for him. I bring this example up to you to show you that everyone has been stampeded into believing that women are the target demographic. You have to appeal to women. You can't offend women. You can't do anything that women might object to. Sure, you can offend men. You can have movies on Lifetime where women set their husbands' beds on fire, their houses on fire, their clothes on fire. You can have talk shows where we talk about men not paying their child support, men abandoning their families, men being incapable of intimacy. You can do all of that all day, every day. It's okay. But God forbid you should ever offend women. That you can't do. And I have spent a goodly part of the last 11 years of my life flying in the face of all of that. And I say, you know what? I don't care if we offend women. The way to appeal to men is to talk to men the way men talk to each other. To talk about the things men care about. We don't mind if women tune in. In fact, for some women, it's probably very useful. And you might be surprised to find out that over 30% of our audience is women. That's okay. But we don't do it by kissing their fat asses. We don't do it by not offending them. We don't do it by worrying about what women are going to say. We just don't do it. I have never, in the years I've been doing this show for Westwood One, I have never worried about that. And I still don't. I believe, just the way women have their own networks, their own places to go, I believe that men deserve to have a place to go. They deserve to have places to go. Radio shows, television shows, steakhouses, country clubs, private clubs, strip clubs. This is not because I think that women can't be fun, or all I'm saying is that men need a place where they can say whatever they want without worrying about what women think. Like I do. I don't worry about it. I don't. Every day when I come in here to do this program, I don't think to myself, what would be interesting to everybody? No. I think to myself, I'm a guy. I have concerns that men have. I have interests that other men have. When I watch television, I don't see any of this reflected anywhere. In radio, the interests of men are reflected, but it's the interests of very, very old men. That's mostly what you get on talk radio. The interests of men 60 and over. And we're talking about all the other men. The men who are under 60, under 50, under 40. Stuff that guys deal with. Relationships. The unfairness of it all. The fact that we're chained to a desk until we're dead. We die 7 years sooner than women. On average, we die 7 years sooner than women. We have more dangerous jobs. We're more likely to die on the job by a factor of over 100 to 1. We get sicknesses women don't get. Heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure in far greater numbers than women do. Lung cancer. We end up having to pay the bills. Women spend the money like drunken sailors. Men pay for everything. These are my overarching concerns. And every once in a while, I think it's necessary to come in here and restate our mission and our position. I really don't care if women are offended by what I have to say. Not this hour, not any hour of this program. I've never cared, I don't care, I won't care. The minute I start losing sleep over what women think of me, Like when I gave out the name of Kate Faber, Kobe Bryant's accuser, about a year and a half ago. The minute I start worrying about what the rape advocates are going to say and the feminists are going to say, I'm dead. People say, aren't you afraid? Aren't you worried about what people... No. No, I'm not. You may like what I have to say this hour or on the show in general, or you may dislike it. But for those of you who are new to this program or still trying to figure out what we do, I think I've pretty much stated it. I'm talking to men. Men deserve a place to go. Not just on the radio, but everywhere. A place where men can be with other men. To get away. And I must say, most women don't have the intellects that would make for interesting conversation. Most women don't read the newspaper. There's nothing to talk about there. Essentially, the relationship between most men and most women is we sit there going, while we try to imagine a woman naked. That's really what's going on, and it really pisses a lot of people off. I'm not ashamed to say it. You get a problem with that?
Tom Leykis, 1-800-5800-866.
You're the first guy to touch my nads. You reattached them.
Oh, good. I thought I'd gotten a little too drunk one night.
The Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM, that's our telephone number. Benito on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, my long-lost father. I've been waiting to talk to you for so long.
I'm glad you're here.
I listen to you every single day on my way to work from 3 to 6. And I've been waiting for someone to say that a ball to stand up for themselves for years. And I got hooked on you a couple years ago through a buddy of mine through a record company.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, I always tell a woman, there ain't nothing I can do if you ain't on my W-2. You say things every day that women can't even argue, and will not deny once your facts are pointed out every day. I see women call, they come in and try and shut you down every single time, but you inevitably give them the wham-wham as they deserve. They're nothing more than Tuesday night humpings and Saturday evening dumpings. And you represent us so well. It's just some brothers out here that like you too, you know.
I know.
I listen to you every single day faithfully, uninterrupted.
I love that.
And I'm a divorced man myself. You know, my ex-wife, she tried to get me. But, you know, like you say it all the time, the law is designed, child support laws and laws are designed for men to lose. They're designed for men to lose.
That's right.
And you point that out and speak in defense of men every day. You know, men, you know, they going to church, tithing and everything. You know, the way women look at it in church, they God, well, he can spend all this money on tithing. You know, eventually, you know, even religious people, they stop for 2 or 3 months. He's saying, well, he can spend that money on me. And that's the way I think that women think.
Well, I think women have a sense of entitlement when it comes to men spending money on them.
Yeah, and it's not fair. You know, women want to be treated, even at my job. At my job, you know, women, you know, they want the same duties as men. They want the same positions as men, but they're not willing to put in the same work as men. You speak so many things that inevitable facts and history behind it. It's overwhelming every day. It never gets old, Tom. And I appreciate you representing the brothers out here, too.
Thank you.
I got a lot of brothers at my job, and I'm having them listen every single day.
I love that. Benito, thank you so much for the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. Jen on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, seriously, I've been listening to you. I've been listening to you for a while. Some of the things, I think you're right. Right now, I think you're dead wrong.
About what?
Your whole opening spiel that you just did.
About what, specifically? What is it I'm wrong about?
About a woman's role, first of all, in a relationship, second of all. Tom, you've been divorced how many times? 4?
4, yes.
You don't know what a relationship is.
Dear, I'm not even talking about relationships here. I'm talking about whether women are interesting to talk to.
Yes. What do you
well, just because you never shut up, dear, doesn't mean you're interesting to talk to.
I definitely do shut up, first of all.
No,
I know when to speak, when not to speak.
I don't
think
so.
And I have interesting things to say.
Really?
I'm getting my message.
When are you going to start?
Start what?
Saying something interesting.
To you, of course I'm not saying anything interesting to you. You don't know me.
Well, Dare, why do I have to know you for you to say something interesting?
It's your opinion. I guess interesting.
I mean, I don't know anybody who's listening to this show, and I generally, apparently, am saying things interesting enough that people tune in every day.
Absolutely. And you know what?
So I don't have to know you for you to say something interesting, do I?
But I'm just saying that all men do not sit there and look at women and think, when is the next time they're going to bang them?
You don't know what we think. You don't know what we think.
Trust me, I do.
How would you know?
Because, first of all, I'm married. Second of all...
Oh, really? And you think your husband tells you everything he's thinking? Good luck.
Please, come on.
Uh-huh.
You got to give us a little more credit.
I'm giving you credit. I'm giving you... There's no place I'd rather deposit my sperm. It's really the best place I can imagine.
Honestly, though, but that's not what it's all about.
What do you mean that's not what it's all about?
You're making women out to be, and I'm not a feminist by any means. I know I sound like one right now, but I'm not. All right? I like the car door open for me. I like...
Oh, women love that. Oh, dear. No. Don't get me wrong. Women love having the car door held open for you. Women love men asking them out on dates and then paying for everything. Women love being offered the guy's jacket when they're cold. They love that stuff. But then they don't want to do anything in return that would in any way be a traditional gender role. They don't want to clean the house. They don't want to make dinner for us. They don't want to do our laundry for us. They want all of the traditional benefits of being a woman and none of the modern responsibilities.
But that's not true, though.
Really?
That's not true. And you know what? You know, some of the women that call on your show, I know the type. I live in L.A. I know the type. They're women, big boobs, blonde hair, whatever.
Got a problem with that?
Actress, want to be a stripper. No. And honestly, many women I know, you know, I'm not saying that it's my role to take care of my husband. I do plenty, though. I'm a full-time student. Yes, my husband's supporting me right now.
Oh, of course he is.
He helps out when he can.
And later on, when he divorces you, you'll have your own career, and you'll hit him up for alimony, too.
No way, because he's not divorcing me.
You'll say, I wasn't working. I was going to school. I wasn't even working all this time. I didn't have a career. I need support until I get on my feet.
Tom, I'm 31 years old. I had a career. I chose to go back to school. My husband...
Because you had a husband to pay for it.
No, I chose to go back to school before my husband and I even got married. And I waited till I was 30 to get married.
And then when you got married, you went back to school.
No, I went back to school before I got married.
So how were you paying for it back then?
I was paying for it by loans.
Loans. I see.
Working.
I see. And now you said, what the hell? Who needs loans? I've got a husband.
Well, no, I mean, that's his choice, though. I'm not forcing him.
Well, believe me, I'd love to have a beer with him and tell him the facts of life.
He doesn't mind, though, you know.
Well, that's because he hasn't heard the facts of life.
No.
The facts of life are, once you divorce him, he'll have all the money he spent on your education, plus he'll have to pay you vagina money. Believe me.
Tom, not everybody gets married to get divorced.
Dear, you're in Los Angeles. 2 out of 3 marriages here end in divorce. Forget the word forever, dear.
Oh,
you live in a community where people say, 5 years, it was a nice run. Like they're talking about Laverne and Shirley being on ABC. That was a nice run.
I'm not going to get into a divorce conversation because I feel really strongly about it. My parents are divorced, and I am so determined not to divorce.
I understand that, but guess what? Doesn't matter how determined you are, dear. It's the 21st century in Southern California for you. And that's the reality.
Well, that's why I don't want to stay in Southern California, but that's a whole other story.
Oh, what? Where are you going to go?
I'm from the East Coast. I'd like to move back there.
Oh, yeah, I hear this all the time. You'd like to, you're going to. Why aren't you there now?
Because I'm finishing school and my husband has a job out here.
Before you met your husband, you were on Long Island or wherever you were.
Actually, New York City.
Whichever. The bottom line is, why'd you come here in the first place?
Because of my husband's job, actually.
But were you married to him in New York?
No, we were engaged.
You were engaged. I see. He got transferred to Los Angeles and you moved.
And I was being supportive and gave up my career and came out here for him.
Came out here.
And therefore, he is being supportive.
What makes you think he's going back? He has a job here.
No, he wants to go back too, because L.A. isn't all that. But that's, again...
Oh, yes. Well, it's certainly, obviously, New York claims to be the financial center of the universe, and yet he couldn't find a job there, could he?
No, he had a job there.
Why did he leave?
because a really good opportunity came up here.
What, again, dear, doesn't New York isn't that the center of the universe? Doesn't that have all the wonderful opportunities? This dump out here?
You like L.A.?
I love L.A.
You do?
Yes, I do. I've lived here now, my God, it's 17 years I've lived here.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in New York City.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
And I'm never going back. Ever. Ever.
Crazy.
Ever.
Crazy.
I've scraped my last windshield, and I've smelled my last urine on the IRT. I'm done.
Honestly, though, Tom, seriously, give women a little more credit. I know it's hard.
No, dear, it's hard because I talk to women and I hear what they have to say. And that pretty much tells me what I need to know.
The kind of women that you speak.
By the way, the women who do have something to say, generally, I can't look at them.
Well, you would be able to look at me. I mean,
oh, yeah.
Never had any.
Well, I've heard all the girls from the East Coast weigh 150 pounds call in and say that, but dear, the standards are different here.
I weigh 100 pounds and I'm 5'4".
Wow.
I'm just saying, I don't weigh.
And you're a 10?
I'm a 10. I have all my teeth. My boobs may not be big enough.
That's how she rates a 10. I have all my teeth. Hang on a second here, Jen. Edward, what do you want to say to Jen here?
Yeah, she's a 10 because she took the tires off her mobile home.
What? From New York City? Please, where did you grow up?
Exactly. You know what? With your personality.
Have you ever been to New York City? How many mobile homes are in New York City?
I've been in New York City.
There's a lot of them. They're called number 7 trains.
Yeah, that's it. That's the mobile home.
That's it. I grew up on the subway.
Hey, with your personality, you will be on the bus alone on your way back to New York City. Please go. We don't need you here.
You think?
And if you think your husband tells you everything, then you're out of your mind. If my wife knew what I was thinking every time, 24 hours a day, I'd be out on the curb.
Honestly, I don't want to know what my husband thinks.
You just said you already know everything he's thinking.
Exactly.
You know why?
You don't want to know. You don't want to know what your husband's looking at, what he's thinking behind your back, and when you guys are out shopping, how he's checking out the little chick in the BB store, and how much he'd rather be with her than you. And you don't know that. You don't want to know it.
Honestly, I didn't marry a piece of crap. He does not think that.
No.
He may.
He does.
Trust me.
If he's got something hanging between his legs, that's what he's thinking right now.
That is so pathetically sad.
Well, that's the real world. Welcome to Los Angeles. If you don't like it, go back to New York City.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
Hit it, hit it, hit it, and quit it.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Blake on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, how you doing?
I'm okay.
That's good. You know what? I am so sick and tired of these chicks that think that they have any right to earn as much money as us. And you want to know why? I work in a kitchen, all right? And this girl, she thinks that she is an equivalent, and she thinks that she can make more money than us. And you know what? She's always the one that's taking breaks. She's always the one looking up her horoscope on the Internet. She's the one that needs, I need help with this. Can you help me out? And I'm just tired of listening to it.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, I don't get it. The only way a woman's going to make any more money than us is if they lie. They lie on the resume, or they the top. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right. You're right.
And I know that it's just a simple fact that they are just not as good as us. They're inferior to us because we're the better sex of the two.
Well, we certainly are the harder working sex, and they are the cheapest sex. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, they're cheap, and they want us to spend our money on them, and that's what also it upsets me, Tom. It actually hurts me because we get taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I just wanted to get that quick one in. I'm on my way to another hard 8 hours of work, and I just wanted to get taken out like Lacey Peterson style or Terry Schiavo style or something.
We got something here for you. One 800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Ken on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
Pretty good, Ken.
You are the man. I have been waiting for this topic for a while, actually.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's funny. You hit on something earlier that's really kind of important to me. You mentioned like Lifetime TV, right?
Right.
And I don't really understand this. Maybe somebody else can explain it to me. What demographic on television isn't geared towards women? You got Lifetime, you got Oxygen, you got anything from about 6 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night is all. It's basically Oprah or Jenny Jones or whatever. It's all geared towards women. So, and let me point one thing out about, say, for example, commercials. How many times have you seen a commercial where there's just some douchebag guy showing off his new Jetta with his girlfriend behind him, rolling her eyes? It's nauseating.
Yeah.
It drives me.
Yeah, and how many men drive a Jetta?
Yeah, or any sitcom. How many times have men been portrayed as stupid?
Most of them.
Right. And
we'll start with Everybody Loves Raymond on down. The guy is some dopey, insensitive jerk.
I was just about to mention that. Or have you seen Sideways?
Of course.
Okay. Let me just, the scene where she beats the bejesus out of him with the helmet?
Yes.
Because he hurt her little feelings?
Yes.
Right? Let's just turn the tables. How many people would now just go through the freaking roof if just because a man had his feelings hurt, he beats a woman senseless with a motorcycle helmet. I mean, it was funny, but think about it.
Right. We accept that.
We accept it.
Yeah.
We accept it, and
that's how pussified our society has become.
And I mentioned this to a friend of mine. He's like, you're uptight. Okay. I guess I'm uptight then.
Yeah. Well, no, I think that's a perfect example of how vaginized our society has become, that we would think that hitting somebody over the head with a motorcycle helmet is okay as long as it's a guy.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. The Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show with 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Susan. Hello.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
Great.
Listen, I'm a new listener, and I've listened to you say that you've been married 4 times.
Yes.
And since you're so against women and so against marriage, how come it took you 4 times to realize
Well, again, we all learn the hard way. We all learn through experience. And thank God I've got a steep learning curve, and I have learned from experience.
Right, but not all women are like that.
No one said all women are like that.
Well,
but the vast majority of them are, and certainly the vast majority of good-looking women are. And by the way, I might add that the vast majority of women who aren't that attractive generally have unreasonably high self-esteem and think they're all that, and tend to be mouthy, and guys don't like it.
I agree. I mean, there are some women out there that are like that, but
I didn't say some women. I said the majority.
Nah, I don't know about that. I don't know what kind of girls you're hanging out with.
Well, I don't know how many women you've dated, Susan, but between I and the rest of the staff, we've dated a lot.
Well, all my friends pretty much are guys, so I do hear all the guy talk, and I agree that some women are like that. And
those guys want to nail you anyway.
But they don't, so.
Only because you don't let them, but that's the only reason they're your friend, which is kind of a friendship based on false pretenses.
Well, I mean, I've been best friends with this one guy since I was 14. I'm 30 now, and we've never done anything.
He just doesn't know how to close the deal. Have you ever offered it to it?
Nope.
Yeah, well, that's my point. The minute you do, he'll say yes.
Okay, I mean, okay, that's cool. Whatever, that's fine.
So it's a relationship based on false pretenses.
No, I'm very honest with him.
Doesn't matter that you're honest with him. He, unfortunately, because he's delusional, like so many guys, he unfortunately believes that one day you'll have a moment of vulnerability or weakness. One day, like when Harry met Sally, one day you'll give it up.
Wow, he's waiting a long time then.
He has been, but again, there's a lot of guys who don't know how to close the deal. You see, my deal is if a woman is not attracted to me, I move on.
True.
Move on. That means I don't take her to the movies or dinner or listen to her talk about the guys she is attracted to. I just end it right there and then.
Okay, then there's nothing wrong with that. I believe honesty is the best policy, so I commend you on that. But I'm just here to say that not all women are like that.
I wouldn't waste 16 years of your life. I'd say, you know what, done. Done. You're not attracted to me. I'm not your friend. It's that simple. D-U-N. Thanks a lot for the call, Susan. Our email address is my name. It's Tom at blowmeuptom.com. It's Tom at blowmeuptom.com.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.